front of a sea of passionate British fans at Silverstone, Lewis Hamilton delivered what should have been a race to remember. Yet, after finishing fourth at his home Grand Prix, there was no celebration, no joy, just a serious warning of Ferrari. A warning that carried weight, not just because it came from a 7-time world champion, but because it pointed to deeper issues that could shape the future of the Scuderia. This wasn't just post-race frustration or heat-of-the-moment emotion. It was a clear and direct message to Maranello. Some parts of the current car must never make it into the 2026 machine. Hamilton's remarks after the British Grand Prix weren't vague or cryptic. They were pointed. He said outright that certain elements of the SF25 should be abandoned for next season. These are not comments a driver makes lightly, especially not one who is still new to a team and looking to establish trust. But Hamilton clearly felt the need to speak up. And when a driver with nearly 2 decades of Formula One experience says that a car is one of the most difficult he's ever driven at Silverstone, it's not something any team can afford to ignore. Starting the race in 5th place, Hamilton was handed an unexpected advantage early on when George Russell had to pit right after the formation lap. This gave Hamilton a cleaner path ahead and a golden opportunity to challenge the frontrunners. He even mounted early pressure on Lando Norris for 3rd, but as the race progressed, Hamilton admitted the car couldn't keep up. There was a brief moment at turn 15 where he thought he might make a move, but after that, the fight quickly faded. According to Hamilton, the tires degraded rapidly, and the car was simply too difficult to control in the changing conditions. Despite the challenges, Hamilton did manage to bring the car home at 4th place, equaling his best finish of the season so far with Ferrari. But the look on his face said everything. This was not a result he could be proud of. It wasn't the kind of performance he came to Ferrari for, and even though he scored some valuable points, they meant little compared to the bigger problems he saw in the SF25. Hamilton made it very clear that the SF25 is not a car suited for wet conditions. The British Grand Prix featured a variety of weather changes, including heavy rain and multiple safety car periods. But while other cars found ways to adapt, Ferrari struggled. Hamilton described the experience of driving the SF25 in the rain as a fight against something that simply didn't want to cooperate. He even said this was only his 2nd time driving the car in the rain, and already it had shown how poorly it performs in such conditions. These comments highlight an issue that goes beyond pace or tire degradation. This is about the fundamental control and feedback a driver gets from the car. In Formula One, confidence is everything. If a driver doesn't trust the car underneath them, especially in changing weather, it affects every aspect of their performance, from how late they brake, to how aggressively they can attack corners, to how they manage their tires. Hamilton's feedback suggests that the Ferrari doesn't give him that confidence. His remarks also carried a deeper message about the direction of Ferrari's technical development. After the race, he didn't hold back. He said Ferrari needs to learn from this year's mistakes and ensure that they're not carried into 2026. He even stated that he would need to sit down with the engineers and designers responsible for the next year's car. This was a bold statement, one that shows Hamilton wants to be more involved in the technical discussions, not just as a driver, but as a contributor to Ferrari's future design philosophy. This isn't surprising. Hamilton's years at Mercedes weren't just about driving fast cars. He was closely involved with the development process, giving detailed feedback and helping shape the direction of car development. That experience is incredibly valuable. He knows what a championship-winning car feels like, and he knows what technical decisions lead to success. At Ferrari, he clearly wants to play that same role. He doesn't want to be a passenger in a car that's already been designed without him. He wants to help guide its creation. Hamilton's concern seems to lie in how the SF25 handles various track conditions. He believes that the car isn't versatile enough to adapt to different circuits and weather. In modern F1, where tracks range from ultra-high-speed circuits like Monza to tight and twisty layouts like Monaco, and weather can change on a dime, that's a major flaw. A top team cannot afford to have a car that only performs well in ideal conditions. It must be predictable, adaptable, and manageable in any scenario. Ferrari's failure to deliver that is now evident to Hamilton, and he's made it known. What adds to the weight of Hamilton's comments is that they come during a season where expectations were sky high. His move to Ferrari was one of the most talked about transfers in the sport's recent history. It symbolized a new beginning not just for him, but for Ferrari. This was supposed to be the start of something special, but halfway through the season, it's clear that the car isn't delivering what it needs to. That frustration is now boiling to the surface. Ferrari team principal Frederick Vasseur didn't try to dismiss Hamilton's comments. In fact, he acknowledged them in a very open and professional way. He said Hamilton's disappointment was understandable and even welcomed it. Vasseur explained that this level of pressure and expectation is exactly why they signed someone like Lewis Hamilton. A champion like him doesn't settle for fourth place, and Ferrari shouldn't either. Vasseur also made it clear that Hamilton's feedback will be taken seriously. He praised Hamilton's technical knowledge and confirmed that the team will listen to his concerns when developing the 2026 car. However, he also said the team won't panic. They still have a long season ahead, and there's time to evaluate everything properly. That balance between urgency and calm is important. But the key point is that Hamilton's voice is being heard and potentially shaping Ferrari's future. The British Grand Prix wasn't just tough for Hamilton. His teammate, Charles Leclerc, also struggled to make an impact. This shows that the problems at Ferrari aren't limited to one side of the garage or one driving style. The car itself is not competitive enough. Its performance across different types of circuits and conditions has been inconsistent all season. And at Silverstone, with all eyes on Ferrari's new superstar, those issues were exposed once again. The pressure on Ferrari is now greater than ever. This is not just about Hamilton's 8th title hopes. It's about the future of a team that hasn't won a Constructors' Championship since 2008. That drought is starting to weigh heavily on everyone at Maranello. And with a champion like Hamilton in their camp, expectations have been raised even higher. The team can no longer afford to get it wrong year after year. They have to build a car that not only competes, but wins. And they have to do it quickly. Silverstone was a clear turning point. Hamilton's words weren't just for the media. They were for the engineers, the designers, the decision-makers at Ferrari. He said plainly that the team needs to learn from this season's failures, and they need to make changes now, not in 2026, not at the end of the season, but today. In F1, time is a precious commodity. Every race that goes by without improvement is a missed opportunity. And Hamilton knows better than anyone how quickly seasons slip away. His comments after the race weren't angry outbursts. They were thoughtful, experienced, and deeply considered. He said, "I learned a lot today." But he added that Ferrari needed to learn, too. This wasn't just about Silverstone. It was about how a team approaches development, how it listens to its drivers, and how it adapts in real time to the challenges of a brutal, competitive sport. What makes Hamilton's warning so important is that it comes from a place of genuine care. He didn't join Ferrari just to collect a paycheck. He came because he believed in the dream of helping the Scuderia return to glory. He wanted to be the driver who brought them back to the top. That dream is still alive, but it's now hanging in the balance. The decisions Ferrari makes in the coming months will decide whether that dream moves closer to reality or slips further away. The upcoming races, starting with the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps, will be crucial. Spa is known for its unpredictable weather and demanding layout. It's a place where car balance and driver confidence matter more than ever. If Ferrari can't make gains there, it will be another sign that their problems run deep. But if they can use Hamilton's feedback to improve, it might be the start of a turnaround. Hamilton's desire to win with Ferrari remains strong. He has shown incredible patience and professionalism, even when things haven't gone his way. But make no mistake, he expects results. He expects progress, and he expects to be listened to. His warning at Silverstone was as much about urgency as it was about commitment. He wants Ferrari to match his hunger, his focus, and his drive to succeed.